in narcissistic and toxic relationships really sort themselves out. So we're going to start like we try to do with something at least that gets us in a good space. Come on, baby. My match lit. Huh. There we go. Perfect. So today we're going to be talking about how you're feeling. You know, toxic relationships are everywhere. And if you don't learn how to handle your own emotions, you're going to keep getting hijacked. So whether you're in a relationship full time with a narcissist, you live with them, maybe you've been married to them for how many years, whether you're whether they're part of your family, whether your narcissist is your mom or your dad or your brother or your uncle or your sister, these things aren't going to go away. And the only way that you're going to stop feeling terrible is by learning how to manage how you feel. Because everywhere you go, you're not going to find this magical unicorn world where everybody is suddenly nice and cares about how you feel. Because if you're in the mindset of being stressed out and being overwhelmed, you are going to feel miserable. And so the only way out is to start to learn how to not be miserable, how to not only not be miserable, but how to create an environment that keeps you in a good place. How do you create the habits? How do you create the stuff in your space that keep you feeling good, that keep you from going down that path of yelling at people you don't want to yell, or worrying that maybe you're a narcissist because you're the one who's behaving over the top and out of control. And it's not because you want to be, but it's because you don't know any other way how to handle the stress that you're under. So today we're going to talk about how do you handle it. The first thing you need to know about how your body works is when you feel crazy, it's because your mind is discombobulated electrically. Imagine an electrical storm where none of the lightning's really connected. They're all coming from, kind of the same cloud, the same area, but you can't predict anything. They don't work together. So your brain is very dysregulated. Your brain is very compartmentalized. It's put into all these different spots and they're all crackling and trying to communicate, but they can't. This is how you feel when your skin is crawling, when you want to yell at someone, when you want to disassociate, when you want to eat too many cookies, when you want to just focus and get things done, when you want to hide and avoid people. This is what's going on. This is actually what's happening in your body. Your brain is firing, but it's not firing together. And your nervous system is firing, but it's not firing together. And you've got a heart brain and you've got a gut brain, and they're not firing together. Nobody's talking to each other. So, of course, you're going to feel like a hot mess who has no control over anything. And even if it's deserved, even if you just find out that, someone's stepping out on you, or that that they are being nice to everybody else, but treating you, like you are dirt on the ground, even if that's happening to you, you're able to keep your cool. The other day I had a heated conversation with someone in my life who I love very much. And they're important to me. They're part of my family. And they told me straight to my face. They said, I don't love you. I never loved you. I don't like you. I never liked you. And you never loved me. Now, this was pretty devastating, especially since I was doing a lot of loving things for this person. I was being very caring. I was being very open. I was being as compassionate as I could be. And it still didn't matter. So you are going to be blindsided. You are going to be surrounded by people who don't know how to handle their emotions. And it's going to make you feel like you're going crazy. It's going to make you feel like you've got no control over your body anymore. And you'll start to have health issues, stomach issues, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, chronic migraine headaches, joint pain, stomach problems, IBS. And then that can expand until we get to bigger things, that are more serious, whether it be cancer or chronic health conditions that, land you in the hospital, or pain management things. This is where it leads when you don't manage your stress well. Your body eventually breaks down and gets sick because it's not working as a collaborative, cooperative unit. It's working as if it's lost its mind and it's firing all over the place. So if you want to feel calm, if you want to start getting yourself back to a centered place where you don't feel so miserable, and angry and hurt and sick to your stomach and tense and disassociated all the time. You have to start doing things that regulate your nervous system. Now, in the past, when someone would be behaving badly, we would look at them and say, well, that's just their personality. That's just the way that they are. And there's nothing we can do. And so we're just going to ignore them or avoid them or try to manage them in some way. You felt helpless to other people's feelings and to your own feelings. But what the latest science has shown is that you are able to regulate your own nervous system. And you've been doing it all along. You've been doing it, but you didn't value it. You didn't make it important. So you know the things that make you feel good. You do. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you mow your grass. Maybe you take a bath. Maybe you have long conversations with friends. Maybe these are the things that make you feel good, that regulate your nervous system, but you aren't doing them because you think you don't have enough time. You think you don't have enough energy, that there isn't anything left for you. Well, I want you to throw this on your head. You've been told your entire life that there's nothing you can do about your emotions and that you just need to somehow think more positively or do another ritual or, let go and let God. You've been they've been telling you these things all along as if you have no control over how you feel, as if somehow mentally you're just supposed to flip a switch and things will be better. And they would tell you to do this without telling you how. That was always my biggest beef, is they wouldn't tell you how you go from crazy to sane. It was just like, well, I don't know how it happened. It just happened one day. People didn't realize what actually went into it. If you want to go from crazy to sane, you have got to find the things that make you feel good, and you have to be doing those 80% of the time. Like 80% of the time, you need to be doing things which calm you down. You need to be doing things which put you into a level place. Maybe it's tea, maybe it's a walk, maybe it's exercise, but you can't just do one. It has to be a concerted effort of trying to get yourself out of crazy land and back into a stable place. Now, at the beginning, you're probably in a place of triage. You're in a place of, oh my God, I waited too long. I'm helpless. Now I can't do anything. I can barely get myself out of bed every morning. I feel horrible. And none of these things are working. I can go for a walk. I still feel terrible. I can eat healthy. I'll still feel terrible. I can meditate. I'll still feel terrible. That's because you let it go too long. That's because you were told and taught that your needs were less important than everything else. And you have to realize if you don't start flipping the switch, that you are going to be going down a very bad path. You're going to be spiraling down. But when you start to take control of your own feelings, of your own nervous system, you can switch it back. So I'm going to give you 3 tools that I use, and you can use them in 60 seconds, and they regulate your nervous system. They take your brain from going like popcorn and your nervous system from freaking out, and you calm it down, and you get it back into that rhythm. You might not have been in a good rhythm, in harmony, in flow most of your life. You might have been in a bad place for the last few decades because you didn't know how to get out of this place of feeling crazy. So, tool number 1, they use it all the time with grief. You know, it feels so simple. It seems so simple. It seems so ridiculously simple. You're like, really? This is what I need to do? Yes, this is what you need to do. So the first thing you need to do when you're feeling stressed is something called havening, Havening. And havening calms your nervous system down immediately, okay? So this is how you do havening. You kind of pick a number for your level of tension. Let's say your level of tension is a 15 on a scale of 0 to 10, and you stroke your arms 20 times. So before I show you how to do it, which everybody's seen by now, hopefully, the reason I got into body and energy work was because I felt always in conflict inside of myself. I'd wake up every morning. I didn't feel safe. I'd power through the day. I wouldn't feel better until noon. I was trying to, take all these pills and do all these things and feel better. And they'd help a little bit, but they wouldn't really work. The only thing that worked for me is when I made my husband go to sleep. I'd be like, okay, just go to sleep. And then I would lay down naked next to him. It was that skin on skin contact And it would take about 45 minutes to an hour for me to finally calm down and switch over. And I said, but this is the only thing that I found. Well, havening is you giving yourself that skin on skin contact, because that is one of the best ways to calm yourself down, no matter how bad of a mood you're in. If you have skin on skin contact, it directly talks to your nervous system and tells it to switch back. Okay, I'm having a little bit of connection issues. Oh, seems to be taken care of. Good. Okay, so havening. Pick a number, 0 to 10, level of stress. All right, we're going to stroke our upper arms 20 times. Ready? Do it with me and notice how it feels when we're done. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, check in with yourself, and your stress should have dialed down at least a couple of points. If you can't do your arms, I do this when I'm in the car a lot. If I feel, because things will come up for me, I'll feel my tension while I'm driving, and then someone starts driving too close, or they want you to do faster than the speed limit, or you're running late, or whatever. So as I'm driving, I'll just do one arm. I'll just stroke one arm, and then I'll stroke the other one, and I'll do that. And that will start to calm me down, whether I'm actually hand on the wheel or whether I'm at a stop sign or a stoplight. I haven probably at least 5 to 6 times a day. And when I first started to do this, I would haven 30, 40 times a day, because my stress level was so high, I needed to consistently be regulating and regulating and regulating. And the good thing about this is that your body starts to learn, and you start to remember, oh, when I'm stressed, what do I need to do? I need to regulate. All right, let's start with havening, because all you got to do is stroke your arms, and you'll notice it dials down a little bit. Now, you probably still have some tension. Now, in your subconscious, you've got all of these little voices, and they're talking to you. They're your brain, they're your gut, they're your heart, they're your nervous system, they're your cells, and they're all talking to you. You've got all these different voices in your head, and you usually can't hear them, because the only voice that you hear is your conscious mind, is that frontal lobe. That's the only one that you hear, or maybe the only one you hear is the amygdala. That's it, or what's right in front of you. You've maybe felt it or thought about it, but haven't really been able to put it into words. When you're able to take something out of your subconscious and put it into words, things change. That's why journaling is so good. But you can't always be like, I know we're in the middle of a fight right now and we're arguing, but let me pull out my journal. It's just not convenient. It just doesn't work. So instead of pulling out your journal, and if you want to process through, start processing and verbalizing the things that you're thinking, then you do tapas acupressure points. And they're called TAT points. And Tapas Fleming, a beautiful woman, rediscovered these Asian medicine points that calm your nervous system down, and she's been bringing it out into the world. So if you want to know more, she's a great person to look up and start taking some of her classes. Anyways, TAT points, what they do for me and what they do for my clients is that you can finally hear the things, the rumblings that have been simmering underneath the surface, and you're able to take them out of your feeling body and move them through you by being able to verbalize it, by being able to put it into words. You take it out of that painful place and you're able to move it forward. Okay, so TAT points are simply this, and I'll hold them for 2 to 5 minutes. I'll hold them if I'm angry. You don't have to be calm when you do these things. You don't have to be nice. You can be even thinking in your head, I hate that pizza, or whatever. Or you can be thinking, this is miserable. I'm not going to do this. This is stupid. Why am I holding my head? I hate this. Why am I bothering? You can think whatever you want. You can be the most miserable human being that you can think of being. Just hold the points. If you hold the points, you will start to flip your nervous system and think more clearly. Okay? So thumb, ring finger, either hand, it doesn't matter, on the inside of your eyebrows. All right, middle finger's in the middle, and a hand on the other side. You'd be thinking anything you want. In fact, when I coach with women, what I do is I tell them to just keep talking while they're holding the TAT points, because what happens is you start to naturally, normally calm down. So do them with me and notice if you see a change. Notice if you see a shift in your thinking, in your shoulders, in your stomach, in your breathing. Notice if things change. And you'll probably hear things in your head. You'll probably hear all those voices that have been underneath the surface making you feel agitated and off center and out of balance. You'll hear those voices. You'll finally be able to honor and respect the voices which are coming up. You'll finally start honoring and respecting the parts of you that have been trying to talk to you for a long time. This is how we respect it. You can journal, you can do the TAT points, you can meditate, but either way, you have to give yourself the respect you've always deserved. You have to listen to you, because probably nobody else is, because you're an adult. So you have to listen to you, and this is how you do it. You just hold the points. If you hold the points, you will listen to your subconscious talk to you, and you'll be able to clear it out. Now, let's say you've got something that really makes you mad, that you have lived with for forever, and you are ready to let go of. Now, the TAT points that I just showed you, I will do those sometimes one right after the other, or I'll hold it for 5 minutes, or I'll say the alphabet while I'm holding it, or I'll listen to something that's positive while I'm holding it, because it's like a direct connection to your subconscious. You can start rewiring your subconscious when you hold those points, okay? So when you hold those points, you can hear your subconscious. So if you're confused, if you're frustrated, if you're lost and you don't know why, if you're overwhelmed or aggravated, pause and hold those points. It will clear up. You will think differently. Your thoughts will change. Okay, so this third one, I don't necessarily do in public. The others I will, because you can be surreptitious. You can be like, oh, yeah, I just don't feel real well, and hold your points. It's totally fine. Or you can just be, stroking your arm as if you're cold, while someone's talking to you. That's fine too. The havening you can do on your hands, rubbing your hands. So that's easy enough to do while you're in a tense situation, or rubbing your face. That's a nice comforting thing to do. All of those flip the switch on your nervous system, and that is the key to healing, getting out of fight or flight and back into the present moment, back into what's really going on. So the third one is when I'm really angry and I have a beef with something and I just want to stop being triggered by it. I know what's triggering me and I want to stop being triggered. Maybe it's that you never do anything that's good for you. And so in your mind, you picture the thing that you want to do. Let's say take a bath or go for a walk. You picture it. You have it in your mind. Thanks, Kimberly. Yes, it does really work. It's powerful stuff. So you have it in your mind, a picture of what it is. And sometimes, some work better for others than other ones do. So you find the stuff that works. All right, so let's say you never take care of yourself, and what you really just want to do is have time to cook a pot of tomato sauce because you love pasta sauce. And you want to take the whole day or half a day and you never get to, and you're angry about it because you don't have time. All right? So let's say I point at the pasta sauce. It's in my imagination, coming from my head, and I'm looking at it as if it's a foot in front of you. Okay? It gives you some distance. And you point at it and you hold it in your mind, and you're turning 3.5 times to your left while you hold it in your mind. If you do this, that's 1. And you should do this with me. 2, 3, and a half. All right, and a half. And what you'll notice is the picture in your mind changes. It changes to something softer, something easier, something that's easier to deal with. Maybe it changes to where you can see a solution, or maybe the stress around it lessens. Every time you do that, you do the pointy thingy and turn left 3.5 times, you break the bond. You weaken the bond of your nervous system and your brain to this visual trigger that you have, to this picture that comes up in your mind of you in a bath and it makes you mad because you don't have time to do it, you point at it, do the 3.5 times around, and it breaks that bond. So the biggest problem that women have is that they don't respect their own nervous system. They treat it as if it's something that can be casually tossed away in the garbage. Oh, you're stressed? Well, that's too bad. You just need to buckle down and work harder. Oh, you don't feel good? Well, that's too bad because this is the way that life is. Oh, your life is falling apart? Well, that's too bad. Clearly, it's your fault. If you hadn't lived such a lousy life, then you wouldn't be having such a lousy life. Whatever those thoughts and feelings that come up, they're not true. You have control. And so when you start doing things that you love to do, cooking, being outside, meditating, listening to music you love. Music is big for me. My subconscious is big on music. So I have headphones on a lot where I listen to music that reprograms my thoughts, makes me think in a different way. So I use music for that a lot. Now, here's the bonus. When you start to do things that calm your nervous system down, when you start to regulate your own nervous system, the body that's in rhythm, the body that's in harmony is the one that is strongest in the room. So when you can stay in a good place, what happens is your good place starts to impact the other people around you. So right now you've been like, why are these people coming at me? Why are these things happening to me? Why is this life doing this to me? Why won't they just stop? Why don't they care about how I feel? Our focus is on how do we get somebody else to stop what they're doing, and that will never, ever work. What needs to happen is you need to change what you're doing, not how do I power through and forget about it, but instead, how do you love yourself? How do you respect yourself? And that's what these tools do. That's what your walks in the woods do and the baths do. I'd like to have a challenge. You know what? I think in a few weeks, we're going to do a 7-week self-care challenge. I think that's a great thing we do, where we support each other through doing this, at least intensely, for like a week. Because if we do this together for like a week, you're going to get some traction. You're going to start moving forward. Right now, I do a healing program every Sunday night where people can join me and we'll do my healing practice together. Not the one that I created, but the one that I do for myself, the one that I do all the time, which is what allows me to not freak out in the middle of all of this. I'm able to stay stable, and there's a lot going on in my life, and my narcissists have gotten sick. And I'm the caretaker, which means that I have this stuff, this anger and hurt and negativity churning around me with other people. How do you stay centered and balanced and calm? You do it by doing these tools, like all the time, until you start to get a rhythm, until you start to get some traction, and until your body remembers, oh yeah, I just need to calm down. Oh yeah, I just need to calm down. Oh yeah, I just need to calm down. And you regulate it. Right now, in the past, they told you to calm down, but you didn't know what to do. Now you do. All right, so this is at least my challenge for the next day. Give yourself half a day or an hour or a full day, and I want you to regulate. Every time a negative thought comes up, every time a negative feeling, every time you feel tense, I know you're going to be like, I'm doing this all the time. For the time being, you will be doing it for all the time. But just to get some traction. It's not for forever. It's just to get some traction. So make a promise to yourself for today to find at least an hour where you sit down, whether it's before bed or around lunchtime. You sit down and you do these 3 tools on everything that comes up. And if you do that, you'll start to make some headway. Here's a little fair warning, though. When you start clearing away the old emotions, the ones that have been controlling you, the ones that make you the angriest, what happens is all the other stuff that's been stuffed down starts to come to the surface. Now, I know you're worried about that. You're like, I don't need more stuff to come down. I just need that person to stop being crazy. I know that's what you're thinking. But in reality, when you start regulating your nervous system, your body starts to become regulated. And because you're handling life different, your energy is different, your point of view is different, the people around you start to entrain to you. Your relationships start to get better. So even though on the front end, you're like, I just want them to stop being crazy, what happens is when you stop being crazy, that's when the other person stops being so crazy. That's when they start to learn how to live differently or be differently. Because your regulated nervous system will regulate everybody else's nervous system that's around you. It's a wavelength. It's a physical wavelength. There's a rule of thumb in healing, which is like the most important person in the room is actually the healer, because the healer's energy, the healer's focus, their ability to be centered, their ability to be in a safe, strong, creative place helps the other person entrain to a more regulated rhythm. So I help other people entrain their nervous systems when they're around me. And when you start to do this more regularly, you will start to entrain the nervous systems of the people around you. And the ones that have been yelling at you, the ones that have been screaming at you, or the ones making your life miserable will start to calm down. They'll start to be more level. So the truth is, it really is an inside job. Okay? So, anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take the challenge today. Give yourself an hour, even if it's just a half hour, to start clearing these things out. Do havening, do the TAT points, do the pointy thing, and just dedicate that time. And if you do, you'll start to automatically see changes. I've got plenty more tools which help us out through this, but start with these three and let me know tomorrow when we do our live stream. Let me know how it was working out for you, okay? So if you need more information, read it. InspireMassage.com. That's what I want, InspireMassage.com. Soon to be RitaHickmanCoaching.com. Go to the website, start looking around, message me. I do 2 free strategy calls with people to see if we're a good fit, see if the tools work for you, and let's get you healthy, okay? Talk to you later.